Okay, so I'm not sure. First of all, rise and shine your light and opulent solution seekers. It's your girl, the spiritual activist, coming to you with another word, message, spot of wisdom, whatever you want to call it. So, like I said, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but I know I have on one of my platforms. But I've mentioned I don't like to talk about things attracting or like I'm not deep into the spiritual or universal laws and stuff like that because like I said, what you program your belief system around, your beliefs become your kind of like your internal laws, and if they are limiting in some way, then what you are able to do is limited. And to me, we are infinite beings. The possibilities are endless. There's no necessarily rules to that. Yeah, there are things we can follow to create a moral compass, to have some level of discipline within this world so it's not so chaotic. But for me, I don't believe in everything, especially the things where it's like, you do this, you get this in return. Like when it's negative, like that's your karma, or that's, you're going to attract this if you gossip, or yeah, gossip to me is a waste of time, but that doesn't. But the reason why I don't like to speak in inevitables, absolutes, definitives, end all be alls, whatever, because they end up putting you in this spiritual rock in a hard place. And what's funny is the people that we want to hear this, that need to hear this the most, they're not the ones listening to this, to these words, to these um, spouts of wisdom that can help them change for the better. No, it's not them. It's the people who are overachievers, the perfectionists, the people who have always strived to be better in this world. And you know what? Speaking from more myself, we put enough stress on ourselves. We criticize ourselves enough. We're our worst critics enough. The last thing we need is more stress to say that, oh, those 2 times I gossiped, oh my God, that's going to come back on me. We're the overthinkers. We're the overanalyzers. We're the people who want to be, who carry guilt and shame for not being good enough. So a lot of times the people who are actually doing the work to heal, the last thing they need is this underlying guilt and shame tactic that I don't think is always intentional, because sometimes I have done it too, but it's like we have to think about the energy that comes off of the way we want to motivate somebody to change. Yeah, tough love and yeah, shame or fear are good tactics for some, but we should also start shifting people to understand that you can teach something without those energies attached to it. Like I tell my kids all the time at school, I don't want to have to be mean. I don't want to have to yell. I don't want to have this attitude with y'all for y'all to listen. I want to tell you guys in a calm way, in a nice way. And I don't want to have to tell you 10 times for you to feel like that's the only way you can respect and listen to me. But like I said, that's why I don't subscribe mentally to everything that people say are universal laws. They can call them universal laws all they want. But at the end of the day, like I said, your God, who you feel like is God, is yours to decide. And honestly, my God is full of grace. My God truly knows my heart, and my God knows how hard I'm trying. And at the end of the day, like I said, nothing takes precedence. Political matters, news, this new age spirituality that's attached with psychology and other people's perspectives, they are not your truth. They are not your source. No man's perspective, wisdom, whatever, is your truth. Like, yes, you can, yes, We can be vessels of divine wisdom, but at the end of the day, we're not the purest form of that source. And that's why you have to take everything with a grain of salt and be able to figure out what resonates with you, and do be able to take the accountability as well. Just because you hear something that rubs you the wrong way, it doesn't mean to say automatically, oh, I'm not taking that in consideration. No, sometimes some pills are hard to swallow. But what I'm saying is, nothing should make you feel like, I don't deserve to be on this earth. I'm not worthy. I'm not this. I'm not that. You need to revisit it and really see, is that just your ego's initial reaction and kind of feeling wounded or hit? Or is it just something that really does not align with you, and you know that deep down your heart is truer and have more integrity and intention than what is being said about you, you know? But that all comes with just trusting in yourself, experience, time. But yeah, so I don't even read into things. People can say I'm dumb, people can say I'm this or whatever. I don't care, because at the end of the day, my sanity, my peace of mind is more important to me than any law, rule, secret, what have you, that somebody has said is the end all be all. Like, who are we as humans to make laws for other people? Like, I'm sorry. And I think I didn't post that about my perspective on like attraction and all these things, because I think I was writing it in my notes. So I may go back and make this kind of the prelude to that and post that in this segment. But yeah, as always, keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. I love you guys. Peace out. You know, as a person who is aware of their rebellious spirit, I'm always trying to challenge things that people have done for years, for centuries, for whatever, since the dawn of time, beginning of time. I'm being dramatic now, but my point is, the overthinkers, the overanalyzers, they're usually the visionaries, the pioneers, because they think deeply about things. Sometimes it is like, okay, it's not that deep, but sometimes it is. And when you don't, sometimes questioning and challenging a theory that everybody has just accepted as a norm, that doesn't mean that it's healthy. Just because something has been accepted as a norm and instilled as a program within our species as humans does not mean it's something that should continue on. That's the whole idea when people talk about breaking generational curses, is that, there's things in our generations, in our cultures, that are not necessarily the healthiest options, and they do carry a level of dysfunction. And so I do that with spirituality, and I kind of feel that that's the idea of what spiritual activism of spirituality is. Now, mind you, everything is not fully unfolded to me, and it comes to me in, little bits and pieces. But I was just questioning, because I did have, the previous video kind of goes into this. Is like, I was thinking, I was going to this, doing this lab or whatever, and some reason my anxiety was kicking in. First of all, driving, and then just doing something that could impact my future or whatever, started triggering my anxiety. And I just started being like, the more anxiety I felt, the more I felt like things were being created that fueled and perpetuated anxiety. Like, okay, traffic, or okay, this, or oh, now, just little things that's like, oh my God, you're making it worse. I'm on a time crunch. I'm on my lunch break, and yada, yada, yada. So it made me start questioning, thinking like, do people feel like negative emotions magnify or magnetize or attract, I guess you could say, things more than positive emotions? And if so, do y'all feel like that's why a lot of times we are programmed with so many of these, so much of our programming is fear, is anxiety, is worst case scenario? Look into my podcast on I think it's called like how my mind, or my black mind, or something like that. But yeah, I'll put it in the description later. But basically, it's like that kind of talks about a lot of the programming that I'm overseeing within my mindset that I'm trying to shift, so that way I can get out of my mind, in a sense, or get my mind out of the way and break down those roadblocks and create detours, create bridges, whatever I have to do to get past my mind, that the aspects of it or the complexes of it that hold me back, that hold me down, that make that does not serve as my biggest fan, as my cheerleader, as my motivator, but as my disempowerer, as my, tyrant, dominating energy. And so, yeah, that's what I was just wondering. Like, do you think that's intentional, the programming that we have? I think it is, because when you look at movies, when you look at this, and then when you start to associate the movies and the target audiences and the culture, you just start seeing it. And it's like, people always want to say, stop playing the black card or the race card. I'm like, nigga, do you not understand what is marketed to certain races? And now they getting so desperate, the people up at the top, now they're just like, oh, black people just getting too woke for us, let's go to other races now. Y'all minorities, y'all better wake up. Y'all other my brown friends, y'all better wake up too, because they targeting y'all too now. They like, oh, it's too many black people, they getting too conscious. As long as people are consuming and feeding into the capitalists and the greed and the consumerism, they don't really care who it is. Of course they want the blacks the most, but at the end of the day, they're going to take who they can get. So everybody better wake up at this point. But yeah, that was just something I just had on my mind.